it, but it's not. Sometimes people with a lot of promise pass to remind us to live out our promise and to live out our potential and not to take every day for granted. And I see that happening with him is that he's woken up because of this. He's woken up a lot. A lot. So with his well-being, with his love, I get 5 wands. And I see him coming together with a lot of people. Usually 5 wands is about competition and kind of, you know, the traditional way that, was it right? I forgot the name of the traditional deck. But it's a Waith and Ride, right? But usually it's about competition. But you see here they're coming together. And I've always strongly believed that him and Gigi were meant to be. But here I get the energy of family. You know, they're creating this family dynamic. They're getting along more. He's not arguing about the small things like he used to, because he realizes life's too short. It's had a huge impact on him, and I don't blame him. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Time. My name is Hailey, so grateful to have you all. I've been doing these longer format videos and a lot of you really like it, so I'm going to keep it like this. It helps me with editing, and I will have timestamps throughout the video. If you want to become a member, I automatically make the video unless it's a celebrity that I've personally done a reading on, or it breaks a boundary, like if the person's pregnant, I cannot do that video. But I would say I do about 99% of members that request it. Also, I do tell personal stories, so if it's not for you, please find another tarot reader. I'm so grateful to have you guys, so thank you for watching. I will be doing 6 celebrities, or what we can learn from 6 celebrities in this video, so stay tuned. It is 2025 predictions, and I will go through each one at a time. So I'm starting with Chris Evans. A lot of you love this guy. Sun in Gemini. I have predicted that he will no longer be with his wife. I think a lot of it was PR driven. I think he wants to move into more rom-coms, take himself, I think the older that he's gotten, this is what I've just picked up energetically, the older that he's getting, he wants to focus more on family movies. He wants to become, his longevity in his career is going to be less action based, because he has been playing Captain America for a long time, and he wants to focus more on sustainable characters, Family Guy, The Dad, that kind of thing. And so I think through this marriage he was painting an image of him being a father type figure. So yeah, that's what I picked up on. Go watch my other Chris Evans videos. Okay, so I'm using the Muse Tarot for this. I haven't used this tarot deck in a while actually. I still really love this tarot deck. It's by Chris Ann. I got it on Amazon like 5 years ago. Let's get into it. So I pulled up his career, his love, and his well-being. With career, I get the Tower. And the Tower, if you can see, is about a surprise. And like I said, I have predicted this for the past, I'd say, year and a half, that I see him switching roles. And some of you have messaged me. I say this all the time, guys. It's not to be condescending. In fact, people look down on reality TV. But I don't know what it is. I love reality TV. That's what I watch. That's what I focus on. My For You page is just reality TV and piercings and makeup. So I don't really pay attention. So lots of you have to send me stuff about these celebrities that has been accurate, and something that one of you sent me was Chris Evans. Apparently he's living apart from his wife, and she's not very happy, something like that. But I see it very strongly, and particularly in his career, he doesn't want it to come out. He's very career focused, which I appreciate and I applaud, but in his career, he does not want it to come out that he has been kind of mean to her. I see him This is the dark side of Geminis. As much as I love Gemini as a sign, you know, every sign has its light and its dark. Something about Geminis in their dark-sided energy, they can be very, what's the word? Combative. So if she comes to him, this is just an example of what I'm giving, and then I will get back to the career, I promise. But for example, if she comes to him and she says, I see her being very emotional. She might be a water sign. I can't remember what sun sign she is, but I see her having strong water in her chart. She's very emotional. And that doesn't do well with Geminis. Geminis look down in general. If you have a lot of emotions, Geminis tend to lose respect for people like that. Air signs. So, and I can relate because I'm a sun in Aquarius. So she comes to him and she's like, I'm crying. I see her crying a lot, actually. And the energy that I get, her crying a lot. And he just shuts her up, you know, and says, you know, I don't agree with that, because she'll say, you hurt my feelings. And he'll say, what feelings? Like that kind of energy. You know, he's very combative when she tries to express herself, which is very tough. Very tough to deal with people like that. I have always said this, and not always, but I said it about once or twice. I have to change my vocabulary. I've said this a few times, that he has some maturing to do, even though he's in his 40s. He seems to me like the kind of guy, and this is not a bad thing, but it's something they have to work on. In life, we all have things we have to work on, where he has gotten a lot of things handed to him because he's good looking, because he's tall, because he has that cookie cutter image, you know. He looks like the perfect guy, so people would not assume bad things about him. And it's harnessed some darkness in him that sometimes comes out, and I believe it comes out when he's drinking. I feel like he might have recently gotten sober because of that. But there's going to be a big career shift, especially if people find out that he has been mean to her. I see there being an expose around August about him and their relationship, and it's going to be hard for him to come back from it. She's going to accuse him of being verbally abuse, of being that way towards her. I can't say the word on YouTube. To her, and so forth. It's going to create this energy of people, particularly feminist groups, are going to have an issue with him, and it's going to have a shift in his career. He might have some exes coming out saying that he was like that towards them, and I see an expose coming around August 2025, so he needs to watch out for that. My advice to him would be to apologize personally to these people and make it less about public. Sometimes Geminis like to be seen in a particular way, in like this perfect image type of way, and it ends up hurting them because people feel like they lack empathy. So let's see what the angel spirit's advice towards him is. It's going to be very career shifting. I see him potentially losing some jobs because of it. Okay, so the advice is, wow. The advice is to lay low, go through the divorce, which somebody said that there weren't any papers, any like marriage papers, which is very interesting. So the Justice, King of Pentacles. Focus on your money. Lay low, focus on your money, and invest in other things for the next year. That's the advice that I get, because there's going to be an expose. It's going to get ugly. I have predicted that before. I said their separation, their divorce, whatever it is going to get very ugly, because she feels like she lost out. It's almost like she's like this. Like her mouth is covered, she can't speak. But when she speaks, it's going to be like, a lot will come out of her mouth. Interesting. Very interesting. So, with love, the Magician, I see him wanting, he's going to be manifesting a new love. In April, he's going to manifest a new love. I would recommend that he stays single for a bit. Just to clear the energy, because things are going to get very nasty with this ex. And you don't want to bring a new person into that. So, let's see. Yeah, he's manifesting a new person. I see him, oh, the Fool, look at that. Came straight out. Dropped right into my hand, the Hermit. So, he's going to be drawn to this woman. And it must be so tough sometimes when I think about, oh my gosh, being famous, especially as a man. You know, you don't want to reach out. You don't want to reach out in a creepy way if you find somebody attractive. I do feel for men sometimes when I think about that. Like if a man says hi to me in the street, I just smile, even though sometimes I feel like it's creepy, because I feel, you know, like, imagine having to say, as long as they're not disrespectful, but imagine having to put yourself out there like that. It's not easy, you know. So I do empathize with that. But he is going to tell this new person that he's interested in her, but she has to wait. Just to wait till everything's done. I don't see her waiting around, and it's going to upset him a lot. But there is a new person in the picture. Or there will be by April. I get April very strongly. Especially also the Fool is Aries season, which is also in April. So, let's see. His well-being, I get Page of Wands. And that implies to me that he is looking at new things, looking at new ways. This is my thing about Geminis. This is something a lot of Geminis I've noticed need to work on. That they tend to be already finished with something and they haven't finished it. You know, you need to learn to complete things. And when you learn to complete things, it makes you feel fulfilled. You can't just stop something in the middle and then you're on to the next thing. It doesn't work like that. You have to end things properly. And he has to end his relationship properly. He can't already be in the next phase, you know. So that's my only advice to him. But there is a new love coming. There is a lot of new coming for him next year. He just has to make sure that he's learned his lessons. I don't think he has, to be honest. But that's it. That's his issue, not mine. I read what the cards tell me. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next person. Is Zayn Malik, or Malik, however you say it. Lots of you guys love him. One Direction. I'm going to use Earth Woman Tarot, my new tarot deck that I love, love, love. And this is Zayn prediction. I'm going to pull career, love, and well-being for 2025. Okay. Interesting. So, with career, I get 8 of Wands. And I see here, I have pictured that he was planning on going on tour. I said that he's planning on going on tour very soon. I actually see it coming into fruition next year. There will be a tour. He's going to start off small. And then it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But the thing is that he still feels guilty about how things panned out in the public regarding Yolanda, all that kind of thing. He feels like there's a stain on his image. So he just wants to see if his fans still care. You know, I feel like he's very insecure about it. Very, very insecure about it, poor thing. But he is opening up more and more and more. And he's going to be way more well received than he realizes. You know, Sun and Capricorns, I have my issues with some Sun and Capricorns and the fact that they don't really say sorry. But he's different. I wonder what his Mercury is in. He does apologize. His Mercury must be in an air or fire sign. Because he's different and he does apologize and he does take accountability for his action, which is very rare for Sun and Capricorns. So let's see what's going to be the outcome of this tour. He's going to announce it in the springtime. I think it might even happen in the summertime. But he's going to announce it in the springtime. Oh, wow. He's going to be so happy. 7 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 3 of Cups. He's going to be so happy. He's going to be surrounded by friends, especially after the situation with Liam that brought him down. It's going to be a time to revive. And this is going to kind of, I just got goosebumps. He's going to turn a lot of the bad things that happened with him, Liam, everything. I think, sometimes, and I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. I lost somebody very close to me. I don't want to get emotional, but this is leading me back to sometimes it takes something tragic happening for people to realize that life's too short. I lost a family member last year, actually, and it took me realizing her passing to realize a lot of things in life that I had taken for granted, I had taken many things for granted, and it put everything into perspective for me. That life is too short to hold on to grudges. Life's too short to focus on things that aren't good for you. And it just changed my whole perspective. I used to think that I was getting older. I'm 35. At the time it happened, I was 34. And I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. But since that happened, I have mourned. I still mourn sometimes, her passing. But since that happened, I realized it's taught me that I'm still alive, and who knows what happens on the other side. But on this side, we can make the most of it. And I think a lot of people, when Drake says, very cheesy but true, everybody dies, but not everybody lives, is so real. And we have a choice in that. We can live. We can decide to live. And that's something that's in our hands. And I see the energy that even though Liam's passing was sad and is still sad, he's using it as motivation to create and to be better. It's actually a very beautiful thing. From the cards that I see, it's very, very beautiful. And sometimes people live short lives to teach us that. Not many to teach us that, but that is a lesson that we can get from that. Is that, if somebody has so much promise and they're gone, when this person in my life passed on, they had so much promise, she was so smart and so intelligent. She taught me so much. And when she passed, I felt like, oh my God, that's it. But it's not. Sometimes people with a lot of promise pass to remind us to live out our promise and to live out our potential and not to take every day for granted. And I see that happening with him, is that he's woken up because of this. He's woken up a lot. A lot. So with his well-being, with his love, I get 5 of Wands. And I see him coming together with a lot of people. Usually 5 of Wands is about competition and kind of, the traditional way that, was it right? I forgot the name of the traditional deck. But it's a Waith and Ride, right? But usually it's about competition. But you see here, they're coming together. And I've always strongly believed that him and Gigi were meant to be. But here, I get the energy of family. They're creating this family dynamic. They're getting along more. He's not arguing about the small things like he used to, because he realizes life's too short. It's had a huge impact on him, and I don't blame him. Especially if somebody dies with addiction. It really makes you change everything. Your whole output on life, or things associated to addiction. So let's see. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles, the Empress, and Page of Swords. So he's seeing here that he could have been nicer. I don't want him to beat himself up, because I feel like he's doing that. But he's really learning to be more understanding towards women. And be more vulnerable, which Capricorns struggle with. Capricorns really struggle with being vulnerable to people, which is something that they can learn from their Cancer opposite sign. Cancers are great at being vulnerable. But Capricorn is something that they need to work on. It's really being vulnerable and allowing people in, because they could be very and expect to be loved. And love doesn't work like that. You have to be open to it. So with the world being his well-being, I see him reaching a lot of people and living out. I think a lot of these child stars, which, because he was a child star, he was 15, 14, 15, even younger when One Direction started. A lot of these child stars, they are a life of example. That's why I do these readings. It's examples. And a lot of examples are not perfect examples. And we expect perfection from people, which is never going to happen. But he's starting to understand. He's grown a lot in the past year or two. He's starting to understand that just because he's not perfect doesn't mean he doesn't have to be out there, you know? And that's a very beautiful lesson. Very, very beautiful, because you don't have to be number one to still succeed, you know? And even if you come second place, third place, it's still the effort that counts. It sounds cliched, but it's true. That people can still see him. He's starting to realize people will see him and see, hey, he worked on himself. He did what he had to do. Yeah, sure, he messed up. But he came out on the other side as a more caring, more kind. And his fans are really going to appreciate that. He's going to receive a lot of love by being his genuine self and genuinely learning from the experience from before. And I wish him only the best. I see a lot of prosperity for him. And my heart goes out to him regarding his grieving about Liam. It's not easy. Okay, let's move on to Bella. I'm going to move to Bella Hadid, who's next. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. It says 60% of you, which is not that high, but because I see other people have like 80% people that watch their videos that unsubscribe. 60% of you watch my videos that unsubscribe, which I'm glad you're watching, but please make sure you subscribe. Okay, so I'm going to use this tarot deck. I haven't used it in a very long time, actually. It's the Journey, Sacred Bead Journey tarot deck. I'm going to be doing Bella Hadid. Same thing, I'm going to put up her career, love, and well-being. I love this deck too. I love all my decks, especially when I see them out, because I love art and I love design and colors. I love colors. Okay, and I got it on Etsy for like $50, $54, but I got it 5 years ago too, 4 years ago. So it's probably gone up by now. Okay, so her career, love, well-being. Career, start with the Judgment. I get the energy of feeling like it's now or never. And what, she's 27, right? Oh my gosh, when I was in my 20s, I also felt like that. I was like, by the time this happens, I've definitely felt like this energy when I was 27. And I was like, I'm only telling this personal story because it relates to it. But when I was 27, I was like, I'm going to move to LA in 2 years. By the time I'm 30, I'm going to meet somebody and we're going to be together. So I'm going to have my kids in my 30s, blah, 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 blah. All that jazz, you know. And like they say, God laughs when you make plans. Because you can't control everything. And I see she's very strategic. She knows what she wants. She has a very strong will. Very strong will. It's surprising for a Sun and Libra to have such strong will. She must have a lot of Capricorn in her chart. But she knows what she wants. She goes for it. And she really, at this point in time, wants to expand. But she doesn't really feel supported. I feel like she doesn't feel as supported as Gigi does. And she often compares herself. I said this a long time ago when I started doing videos on her, and it did come out in her Vogue interview. I believe it was Vogue that she did. But she spoke about how she didn't feel supported growing up. She felt like Gigi was always chosen first, and I get it. It's not very nice to feel like that. And she's the middle child, right? I can relate. Middle children. You know, I always say this. I never felt like the middle child until I realized I had a lot of childhood trauma and lots of childhood healing that I've been in therapy for. And yeah, so until that happened, I didn't realize that I was a middle child. But middle children, how oftentimes we hide our trauma, or how our trauma represents in our subconscious, is that we take on more than we need to. And I see that with her a lot. I see her and comparing her to her older sister. You know, I never thought I did it, but I realized, actually, when my sister passed, I realized I had a lot of things with her that I touched on when she was alive, but when she passed, I realized that I had hidden resentment towards her, which is so interesting, because you miss this person and you're resentful. And it's normal, especially if you have a parent that pins you against that person and compares you a lot. And I had a mother who would compare us a lot. And it creates resentment because that's your survival, you know. So it's normal to feel like that as any child. And I'm relating as a middle child to being compared to my other sister, particularly my older, as she does to hers. And this constant feeling like, okay, because she's doing this, I have to do this. But it seems like Yolanda, the energy I pick up on, Yolanda, who's their mother, is more there for Gigi than she is for Bella. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bella has a child just to get Yolanda's attention, which is very sad. Oh gosh, I feel like Bella's so sweet, and I think she has some healing to do, and she often cries for help, which is very middle child. We cry for help in our own ways. My cry for help growing up is that I used to have a very bad, until I discovered yoga, I had a very bad eating disorder. And one time, I was actually really, really thin. And people were like, you look sick. And I was like, no, I don't. Because to me, I thought I was fat. And I wouldn't be surprised if she also has this similar... So when I see the Hadid sisters, it reminds me so much of my upbringing. And just how their mother is and how my mother was. So I can relate a lot. And I see here, especially with the Empress, King of Cups and Virtue, she wants the world to accept her in a way that she feels like she hasn't been accepted. And I feel for her. I'm sending her so much love because I can relate. You know, I'm sure we all can to a degree. But specifically being the middle child, I can definitely relate. Feeling like somebody else got more attention than you did, you know. I just really hope she's in therapy and she's healing, because she really needs that. So, with her love being 4 of discs, I see her focusing on herself a lot. 4 of discs in the traditional is Pentacles, which is often about self-love, self-care, taking care of herself. She's got a very, like I said, she has a very strong will. Very strong will. And her strong will, let's see, her strong will is very defiant, you know. Now she knows what she wants, especially the older she gets. She knows what she wants. She knows she's growing. She's maturing a lot. I don't see there being a man in the picture unless it's this Knight of Wands, which she's going to date here and there, but nothing substantial. I see her coming into, and time is fluid, so it might not necessarily be exactly 32. But when she's 32, she's going to meet somebody that's really going to love her the way that she deserves to be loved. Whether they stay together or not, that's up to them. But I see her when she's 32, that happening. So with well-being being 7 of Pentacles, I see here that I see a lot of self-focus, introspection, finding out about herself, growing, healing, learning. She's got a very, I don't know how to describe her personality, but It's interesting she's done a Libra, because a lot of Sun Libras tend to be wishy-washy. She's not wishy-washy at all. She knows exactly what she wants. She goes for it. She makes things happen. Especially, I see her planning like a big trip of self-discovery. She's got a very cool personality. I must say that. Very like... Her Mercury might be in Sagittarius. That's what I could see. But when she wants something, she goes for it. And if it doesn't work out, she's like, okay, well... The downside of that is that she needs to... Because sometimes it comes up, her feeling of rejection comes up, and her feeling like abandonment, placed second, comes up. So she needs to address that. But her future looks very, very promising. But I see 2025 being a year of focusing on herself and her well-being, and letting negativity fall to the wayside, which is very, very important. But I see a lot of good coming. A lot of good. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Beyonce, who's the fourth person. I'm using the Pixel Soleil Tarot deck. I got this, last year? Yeah, I got this last year. I can't believe it. I haven't bought a lot of tarot decks recently because I've been spending my money on coding books. But I will be buying them again. Speaking of which, my app is coming out very soon. It's an Oracle app. And then I do have something related, another app coming, related to tarot, so check that out. It's coming up very soon. Well, not very soon, I still have to start coding it. Yeah, but soon, to be TBA, that's what they say, to be announced. Okay, so Beyonce 2025, career, love, well-being. I've done many Beyonce videos. Please check them out. I've been accurate a lot about her and Jay-Z. I'm not going to get too much into my personal story about Beyonce. A lot of you that watch the channel know that I know a lot of people that have worked with Beyonce. They do not have good things to say about her. But that is for another time. Another day, another time. So I pulled up her career, love, and well-being. And with career, I get King of Swords. So I have always found this about Beyonce. I always say this. I have said this often, rather. I used to be a huge Beyonce fan. I wouldn't say I'm a part of the Beehive. I was a part of the Beehive because I don't believe in being a part of fan clubs like that. Except for Free Britney. I was a Free Britney person because I felt like it was a good cause. But I've always loved Beyonce's music. You know, growing up, I was always the Beyonce of the group. You know, I was singing, stuff like that. I felt like I don't know. I related to her a lot. But when I met one of her background singers who had just left her in 2017, I believe it was, I realized that she has a shady side to her, as we all do. None of us are perfect, and that's not the point of being alive. We're not meant to be perfect. But my issue with her is that she portrays this perfection. And when her Beehive goes after people, she doesn't say anything about it. It comes across very shrewd and very cutthroat, which I believe is a huge part of her personality, which is represented in the King of Swords. So I see her, and it's funny that this is the King of Swords, when this seems very feminine, this energy in the card. I see her becoming very shrewd, particularly against people like Jaguar Wright. It's not Jay-Z that's sending these messages. It's her. Jay-Z couldn't be bothered if people say things about her, about people, about them particularly. But she is the driving force behind these lawsuits against people. They're going to start suing people that are saying negative things about them, that are high profile. I wouldn't be surprised if she sends a cease and desist to Jason Lee. Who else? Jason Lee. I see somebody at Fox Soul, them sending a letter to. She's going to start being very shrewd. It's her that is this energy. And she allows him to take the fall for it. He allows himself to take the fall for it. But people are going to start seeing, hey, it's not Jay-Z that's like this. It's Beyonce. Beyonce is the one that wants to sue people. Because if you think about it, people have been saying bad things about Jay-Z. I mean, Dame Dash has gone on a whole campaign. Which, by the way, I love Dame Dash. Has gone on a whole campaign about how much he dislikes Jay-Z for years, for 20 years. Well, 15 years, at least. And he's never been sued. Kanye West said something horrific about Jay-Z. He never got sued either. But when it comes to him and Beyonce, that's when it's off limits. And it's because she is the one that has the problem with people speaking badly about her. It's her. And she's going to make it known. So, with her love being King of Pentacles, she's very focused on money. Very, very focused. And I did say this before, especially recently. I saw a clip. Okay, once I heard all this stuff about Beyonce and Jay-Z from people that they've worked with, I really went down the rabbit hole during COVID, as most of us did. And I remember being on a hike with one of my friends, and I said to him that the night before, this is what I remember. I said to him the night before that I had seen a clip of Beyonce. Sorry guys, my neighbors, this is why I recorded my videos earlier, because to avoid this, because my neighbors, they hang out in the courtyard and they make lots of noise, and my room, well, my apartment is just above the courtyard, so sorry guys. If you can hear them, I apologize. I do try to drown out the noise and I clean the audio, but if you can hear them, I apologize. So I remember seeing a clip of Beyonce getting ready for the MTV Awards. I believe it was 2005, where she was wearing like the gold crop top and the gold shorts, and he looked at her. If you guys can find that image, it's very eerie, and he's looking at her like, this is, I'm gonna make money off of you, like a pimp. It's just very dodgy energy. So especially, I'm saying that only because recently she has been promoting a lot of products. And why would a billionaire need to promote a lot of products? My theory is that it's to hide attention from all of this stuff that's going on about Jay-Z. And they've orchestrated this plan to take away energy, or to take away what is going to... And you know, I thought he was behind it, but it looks to me like she is. She's behind this plan to take away the energy that people have on him to their products. Because I don't think they need the money. Clearly they don't need the money. But it's just to be like, ha ha ha, I'm all this and you're nothing, basically. Which is very mean girl. Very, very mean girl. So with Nine of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and Two of Cups. Yes, so they're going to put on this show that, oh, we're the best. It's a very business marriage. Very, very business. I've said this since I've done the videos on them from the beginning. There have been rumors for years that it's about business. The reality of it is that Sun in Virgos and Sun in Sagittarius are not a good match. The only match that they would have would be monetary. And I think she realized that a while ago. So when things start to look bad image-wise, she's out. But he's going to leave her first. I have explained it before. Go back and watch my videos about them. I have explained what I believe is going to happen. So the High Priestess, being her well-being, and this is what I've seen before. I see her reaching out to different psychics, different people, telling her, okay, you need to do it like this, you need to do it like that. I strongly believe, and this is what I've heard from the streets, that she practices Santeria. I've heard things that from people that have worked with her directly. I've heard things about dark magic that people would not believe me. I believe it to be true. But I believe, most people, maybe one day people will believe it, but especially after everything that's come out about Diddy. And Diddy's only a tip of the iceberg what's come out about him. I believe there's way, way, way worse. So with the Sun, 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, she's seeking advice spiritually, like she has a spiritual advisor. I see it being an older woman with grey hair. It's not her mother, it's somebody else. telling her, it might be Erykah Badu actually. I just got an image of Erykah Badu. But somebody older who's telling her exactly how to move, reads her cards for her, does her kind of thing. Yeah, and it's telling her, like, it's just very self, when the whole, okay, this was actually my big eye-opener. I met Beyonce's background singer, and I've met people, I dated somebody that was associated with Jay-Z, and he says he stole his music. I believe it to be true because he showed me evidence, and even then I didn't even need to be shown evidence. I think he just felt like that because my eyes were like this big, and I think he didn't think I was telling him the truth. But I believed him because it's happened to people in my family. I have entertainers in my family that have had things taken from them, intellectual property stolen. But I only say that to say that when I started going down the rabbit hole and discovering all these things, when the image of her former, excuse me, I don't know why I'm having a difficult time breaking down the story, but when it came out about her former drummer being under spells, I completely believed it. I completely believed it because I had experienced a similar experience with somebody that I dated who has worked with Beyonce, who used to be close with Beyonce, and people thought I was crazy when I said that he would do things. I knew he was working with somebody that did spells because he used to tell me when we dated. So this warfare, spiritual warfare thing is a very real thing. And people don't believe it, and because a lot of them are under a spell. And I really believe she puts her beehive people under a spell. Okay, so let's move on to Priyanka Chopra for 2025. I'm going to do her career, love, and well-being. And then I'll end off with Hailey Bieber after this. But let's start with Priyanka Chopra. I'm using Crystal Magic Tarot, by the way. I have all my crystals here. I have candle lit. I did some Palo Santo before I started. So this reading is very protected. Okay, wow, career, love, well-being. Oh God, this is heavy energy. Not for her, but what she's gonna go through this year. Let me just cleanse this. Ooh, because things have not been good between her and Nick. I can just say that. Let me just say that it's gonna be heavy for them. So with her career being 10 of Cups, lots of good things happening for her. But I have called this from about 2 years ago when I started doing readings on both of them together. The more well she does in her career, the death card for their relationship, the more isolated he's going to feel. At this point, he feels, and I don't exactly know how he feels, but this is the energy that I pick up on. He's starting to feel like she doesn't really care about their family. I think if you ever have learned in therapy or any kind of psychological teachings about anxious attachment versus avoidant, she gives avoidant energy. And he gives anxious attachment. And the more he asks for her to be around, the less and less she will be around. Because she'll be working, she'll be traveling. I mean, I can read a lot about her career. So she's going to start directing, all that kind of stuff. Which I just watched one of her movies on Netflix about the guy she falls in love with. And it's cute. It's a very cute movie. And he was in the movie actually because I think he has this need, and I discovered that I have some anxious attachment. When I'm with somebody who's avoidant, I become anxious attachment. That's why for me, the perfect partner is somebody that's secure. Because I've had exes that are secure, and I feel stable in the relationship. But if I have an avoidant person in my life, I almost did. In my life, as a friend, as a family, as whatever. As a romantic partner, mostly, I become anxious and I really want that person's attention. And that's because my inner child felt abandoned when my parents got divorced. And she has the avoidant, where everything's fine, everything's going to be okay. But he's like, no, it's not. They're not a good match for each other. I've said this, I'll keep saying it, they're not a good match. And we're going to start to see rumors. By October, we will hear of a divorce. Now, time is fluid, and I feel bad because there's little kids involved. And I really, really wish that they would stay together and be happy. I mean, I just wish for happiness for them, whether that's being together or not. But I see by October a divorce announcement. And then he's going to do what his brother did and try to paint her in a bad light. I really wonder what happened with these Jonas brothers, because I feel like they have a lot of resentment towards women. I really want to break down, maybe I should do a live about that, of just breaking down their dynamic of how they grew up, because it seems to me like they have this image of how women should be, and it's not very applicable. It's not very, you know how sometimes, and I have called women out for it, we often look at like the perfect partner as being almost too perfect for that person that's coming in to maintain. And I used to be guilty of that, trust me. But it seems to me, especially anxious attachment, tend to also have this idea of like perfection, you know, perfection for ourselves and perfection for others. And I see him, he wants her to be perfect, and she's not, obviously. And because she's not, he freaks out. He wants things to be a certain way. It's just also Sun and Virgos can be like this. Definitely so. But it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. By October, he's going to say she abandoned the children. She doesn't want it. Which is kind of what the other brother said. What's his name, that guy? Joe, right? I saw him. I don't know if I told you guys that I saw him at my gym. When I used to go to the gym. No, I did Pilates. I used to go to the gym and I saw him at the gym. But anyway, so 7 of coins being their well-being. Being her well-being, excuse me. I see her trying to break away. It's almost like she's trying to, okay, she foresees that it's not going to end well. So she's trying to first start with finances. She's slowly trying to break away. Every time she does, he comes back like, you're trying to leave me. You're trying to do this. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm just taking care of myself. The Star, 5 of coins, and Queen of Cups. I think there's a part of her that's actually afraid of him. But we're going to hear about that. So the better she does career-wise, the more he's going to feel neglected. And I think that's the dynamic he had growing up. I think the mother, this is the energy I get. Trust me, I tell you guys this all the time. I don't know anything about the celebrities. Reality TV is my thing. But the energy that I pick up on is that his mother was a stay-at-home mom. And then when she wanted to go work, they would all feel like she was neglecting them, which is normal, you know. As a kid, you need to unpack that. And I often say this, you know, what really makes a good parent is many things, really. Not many things, but a few things. Love, kindness, boundaries, consideration. And when your child comes to you about something that happened when they were a child, listen to them. Open communication. And I don't see that happening in there's a lot of trauma in his life that he hasn't addressed. And this ended up being about Nick when it was supposed to be about her. But she tried to fix him, but he's not. Nobody is fixable. Zero. And it's nothing to do with that person. It's just nobody. The only person that can fix or correct or whatever you want to call it without sounding mean is ourselves. Is ourselves. So yeah, I do wish her very well. She's gonna spend a lot of time thinking, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? I saw the signs in the beginning. You know, he did seem needy, he did seem attached, and I think she was so used to dating men that weren't available that she was like, okay, fine, there's finally a man that's available for me. But he's too available, he's too needy. That's what I have for you guys. Okay, so my last readings on Hailey, Baldwin, Bieber. Now that she's not pregnant, I can do readings on her. Congratulations to her, by the way, for welcoming a beautiful, I don't know what his name is, that beautiful child. Babies are such a blessing, and I'm only wishing happiness for her journey as a mother. So let's get into career, love, and well-being. I am using the Light Seers Tarot. I love, love, love this deck, as I love all my decks. Career, love, and well-being. I've been accurate a lot. Go check out my other readings. I will have cards up throughout the reading, so check out my other readings. Okay, career, love, and well-being. Okay, so with the Hierophant career, so I did say I've been accurate a lot. I predicted her skincare. I've been doing videos on them for 3 years now. I predicted her skincare line. This time I see her collabing with like a bag collection. I wanted to say Coach, but like Selena did Coach, right? Which is very interesting to me, because I did predict also before that she would copy Selena a lot. I think she really, and I've said this before, she has not made peace with the fact that Selena is the one that got away. You know, I have been in her shoes, so it's not easy when you have like the ghost of the ex-girlfriend. My friend actually made up that terminology, and I felt it. You know, when you're with somebody and they recently broke up with somebody and they still have remnants of that person, you still see the ghost of them, and you either compete with, it's a tough situation to be in, because I think she competed with this ghost of Selena, and that ghost became real, you know. She has to see the person. Thank goodness my ex's ex was not famous, but it must be tough. It must be really tough. Even I have famous exes I have to see in public, and I'm not a victim. I'm just saying, when you see them on a movie or whatever, you're like, I don't want to watch this movie. You know, I don't want to be reminded, even though one of my exes is a great guy, I still don't want to be reminded of that person today, you know. So it must be tough trying to escape your current partner's ex, and you can't, you know. So I see her, she transforms that, which is very Sun and Sagittarius, as I'm going to try to be a better version of that person. And it doesn't translate well to the public, even though it doesn't come from bad intentions. It doesn't come from good intentions, but it doesn't come from bad intentions. It's just very insecure. It comes from a very insecure place. And I would highly recommend, if Hailey Bieber is not in therapy or some kind of healing mode, I recommend it, because I really strongly feel like she has a lot of growing to do. And not in a bad way, you know, we all do in some form or manner, some more than others. But she has some healing to do, real healing to do. So with Knight of Pentacles as her love, I see here he's going to be helping her. I see like jackets and bags. Jackets and bags and yeah. And I see like sunglasses in a car. I think the commercial is going to be her driving in a car. I see that. But he's going to be helping her a lot. He always helps her with. I think Justin means well. I really, and I've always said this about him. I've always defended him. He has going to do, yes, but I don't think he's this bad guy people try to make him out to be. I think Justin Bieber has a very good heart. I have always said that, and I stand by it completely. I think he has just been through so much. And even when people called him a brat, they tried to make him out to be a racist, say all these things. I don't believe it. I really don't. You try being in his shoes and still being a healthy human being. You know? Most people would not survive. So I think we need to cut that lack of, practice empathy and compassion towards people that go through real things, especially in the public light. It's not easy. So 10 of Pentacles, Justice, and 5 of Swords. The Justice is divorce. I have seen it imminent for quite some time. I think she's the one that's stopping. I think both of them have their reasons for not making it happen. Not that I want them to get divorced. I want both of them to be happy, healthy. It's just that I think that the foundation of their relationship started on false promises and lies. And there's only so far a relationship like that can go. And it's wearing on him, you know, even though he has a new child, like a baby boy, beautiful. You can only live a lie and a false truth for so long. And I believe this relationship was a lie. And I don't think he had done the real work. And I don't blame him, you know. I have so much compassion for him, so much empathy for him that... what choice did he have? And in a weird way, this relationship saved him from going down a very dark path. It really did. But I believe the relationship is done. So with well-being, being Queen of Wands, she needs to take care of herself, which I don't think she will, because I feel like she feels stifled. And it's interesting because Sun Sagittarius are usually about freedom, but I think also her upbringing has stifled her sense of freedom, liberty, and her needing to conform, which is very Sun and Sagittarius. They're usually not very rebellious like Sun Aquarius, the rebellious ones, but they're usually big on freedom. And she's going to reclaim her freedom at some point by the end of this year. Well, 2025, which is soon approaching. Yeah, so that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate all of the comments, if you're respectful. Even if you disagree, like, people disagree with me and they do it in a respectful way. They correct me and they do it in a respectful way. I love that. Thank you. Because I'm all about healthy debate. But once it gets nasty, that's when I step in, you know. Once you start to criticize how I speak, what I wear, stuff like that, I really don't like that. But healthy debate, I'm here for. And thank you everybody for watching. Those of you who have supported me when I had 9 subscribers. I remember that day. And I'm just so grateful, incredibly grateful for this community, for this channel, and, you know, support. And yeah, I hope we continue to grow. And I love all of you so much. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. Take care.